Alright, gentlemen. Looks like the Madden gods have answered the call of the wild, and we are going to be able to use some of our own audibles in our custom run and shoot. And to a lot of the guys out there on the group and whatnot, I know that you guys have your own cup of tea, so you guys are gonna go your own direction. But I'm still might as well just put it out there. These are gonna be my base audibles moving forward in the shoot. Gonna try and figure out a way to set them a little faster. In my book, the way this game plays right now, if I can get them all set by halftime and just go wide open in the second half and not have to worry about any audibles, minus what I want to put in the audible system, changing that stuff on the fly. But anyway, these are going to be my custom audibles for the run and shoot, and they're all set up like this specifically. They're all formation specific. My 2x2 in gun is strictly for gun. My 2x2 in pistol is strictly for pistol. My 2x2 in under center, strictly for under center. You guys can mix and match your concepts if you'd like. But I know I had a couple of gentlemen on the group ask me if I could help them out by just letting them know what my audibles might be. And when I say the group, I'm talking about the Run and Shoot 101 group. For my other guys like Beast, who's going to be soaking this stuff up from one of my CFMs. This is all for you guys, man. But putting this video out there because one of our guys on the 101 asked me to do this for them. Not to mention, I got a series of videos that I'm about to pop out now that I can actually do what I want to do in 18. This is the whole reason I bought the game. So anyway, we'll start small here. I figured the most efficient way to do it is going to be to start with single back. As far as audibles in game, the way I'm going to try and get it set up is we'll start with a single back, and then I'll move to pistol and then gun. Obviously, I'm not going to get it done in one play call, but single back's only got 2 looks, pistol's got 3, and gun's got 5. So if I can get, in a matter of my first series, if I can at least get pistol and single back set, then I'll be having a good game. I should be able to get the rest of it set up by the end of the quarter next time on offense. So anyway, setting up my audibles here, starting the single back spread. Square is going to be auto motion choice, triangle auto motion draw, L1 auto motion go, R1. Now this is the one that now that we can change them on the fly, I can really do a lot with this other one. By default, I like for it to be the 0-1 trap. That way we have a base running play where if we can get somebody in a 3 technique, we'll just kick him right on out of there. And when we get to the second level, hopefully, once you get to the second level, hopefully you've only got 1 person or 2 people to beat and a whole bunch of people, chasing you. But anyway, I'll start with the 0-1 trap, but I love to use the flanker dig a lot. I mean, a lot. So, flanker dig, 0-1 trap, switch smash, and inside zone. Those 4 are the plays in which I would rotate in. And I would only rotate it into the R1. I would keep the auto motion choice, draw, and go. I would keep all that the same because that's going to work to your advantage once we get this thing rolling. Moving to trips open, still under center. this one's pretty interesting because I really like the 60 go out of here because I love the outside release. But realistically, I'm going to have a couple versions of go. So I like to have the bubble screen, an inside zone, which is already there. Back to it. Inside zone. And I thought there was, I was going to say, a levels play. I don't really find myself under center trips too often, but a levels play. And flanker stretch, play action stretch. And the reason I like stretch so much, and I like stretch a lot in 17 as well, is you have outside release streak by your split end on the right. Your Z runs an outside release streak. Your X runs a deep post, and H and Y kind of give you a high-low there with a streak in the dig and whatnot. So moving on, going to pistol now. So we'll start in pistol spread. Square's going to be switch smash. Triangle is going to be a draw. Draws play very well in this game when called against the right coverages, 2s, 4s, inverts, things like that. We're gonna keep R and S vertical read. Okay, and yeah, we're going to keep that read, and then we're going to put fade smash here at R1. And then moving on to trips open. Trips open, we'll want to have Z spot. We got to draw in our 2x2, so we'll run slam away from trips. And then slide for L1, and this last one is kind of interchangeable as well. I really want to play with the play action pin deep. I just kind of want to play, see if I could use that against cover 2 as a cover 2 beater. So that's what I'm going to start with, but I really like, out of these pistol formations, I really like the counter, I like the smash, I like the flood, I like the slant, I like it all. But realistically, in 17, it was middle slant, so we'll set it to slant as first. And then here's pistol trips out. We'll go with play action verticals for square, counter for your run, outs for your L1, and this is another one. Notice that R1 is my interchangeables. It's not something that I got an opportunity to do in this offense last year, but this year, since I have that opportunity, originally it would have been something like level switch down here at the bottom. And this is something I like to run against man coverage, where I set my Y receiver to a drag, and then my H receiver running that kind of reverse zig. I know that's where running a zig to the inside almost, where he has that hard outside release and then zigs across the field as if he's running a drag or a very shallow in. But I like I liked it against man coverage because obviously you had the drag, and if the drag gets covered up or usured or whatever, the hard outside release reverse zig is going to dust his man. Now, this year they've changed man coverage. If you understand man coverage and how to run it, then I would imagine just about everything in this offense is beatable with man coverage. But you have to have your shading correct. You have to have your technique correct. And to guess right on just about every single play is a little far-fetched. It can be done, but that's more of a testament to who's calling the plays on offense rather than who's defending them on defense, So, but anyway, I really like the level switch. If I had to throw out a couple plays that I would like to rotate in with this R1 in particular, I really like inside switch. I also like play action boot. And my personal, these two are my personal favorites out of this formation but instead of using that flood concept, I like to use the outs concept instead. They both have the backside post. They're just same concept. It's a flood concept. I really like this outs play against quite a few different zone coverages rather than this flood. So what I'm getting at is this outs play is very good against let's see, any kind of 3 cloud, any kind of corner blitz, any kind of cover 6, any kind of cover 9. Loving this outs play. Now if I was to run the flood, I would have probably a full second less of the amount of time to read my defense, if that makes sense, just based on the way the flood is drawn up. You have an arrow route instead of an out route, and your X receiver kind of runs that outside release fly, but just because it has an out route there, and you could audible to a baby out route. I'm not taking that away from you. You can hot route to that, but like the outs overall compared to the flood, just because I feel like I have just a little more time to let the play develop, and it goes a longer way. This slot corner down at the bottom, boy, this one might actually get rotated in permanently. Like I said, this is kind of day one for me as far as the run and shoot goes, because you can actually use some custom audibles. So this slot corner, I'll show you more about it later, but a lot of people, there's a play out there called Salem X Kitty, and a lot of people love that play in the red zone. This slot corner is the Madden version of that. So so we'll keep it level switch just for the sake of 17. But so we have single back sets, we have pistol set, and then we're going to go ahead and set up our gun. So we'll start with the spread 2x2. It's 60 HY option, and this is my base play. I usually come out in 60 HY option and then probe from there, but I like to have it in my base audibles, because if I make a couple of pre-snap adjustments and then I still have, let's say, 12 seconds, 15 seconds on the play clock, I make a couple of adjustments, and the defense makes a couple of adjustments, and I just do not like what they're in. I know that if I just scrap everything and go back to my base play call, I know that it is HY option all the time. And for those of you guys who don't know, it's as simple as square, which is audible, and L2, which will revert you back to the base play and base formation in which you came out in. So that's why I have that there set for square out of the gun spread, because that is my base play. And if I ever get in a predicament trying to do too much pre-snap, I can always start back to base X and know that I'm in 60 HY option. And HY option, it has a couple of different purposes. A lot of the guys on the 101 page, all those guys pretty much have their own approach to the shoot and how they solve coverages and whatnot. But for some of the other guys who are just now picking this offense up, HY option is extremely good against cover 2. Has an adjustment here or there for cover 3, but it is very effective. It is very effective against a couple of different play calls. Cover 0, man, it just eats that shit up. Anyway, so HY will be the base out of the gun spread. I'm going to go with inside zone as a run. Streak option, streak X option is L1. And then R1, I like to have play action comebacks. And these are where the less than 2% of my hot routes come into play, because most of the time I'm using this to attack cover 2, in which I obviously want to hit the post. So I would send my comebacks on streaks. If I wanted to use this as a combo coverage beater, say I got somebody who's disguising their coverages, showing me middle of the field open, 2 high, but really it's middle of the field closed, 1 high, or even middle of the field open cover 4, where you get 4 high. Those comebacks get audible to outs, and based on post-snap first steps, you'll be able to know where the football goes based on what those safeties are doing. So we'll go ahead and set play action comebacks. But with all that being said, draws are really good this year in this offense. I'm hard pressed to put a draw in here. I would probably just use R1 as the game goes on to maybe get counter in there, counter, draw, quick base. So pretty much all your base runs and whatnot. And yeah, I mean, I know a lot of people out there like this circle concept down here. I'm not a big fan of it, but it's not bad. And, these switch routes, if you'll notice down here, this switch smash, man, these switch routes, they are nice. They've always been nice. For some reason, I feel like they're just extra nice this year, especially with that switch post and the right personnel using it. So what I'm getting at is, again, we'll use R1 to rotate some concepts in just based on what we think our defense is going to be doing. So if I have a guy who's running a lot of cover 2, but I can't just line up and cover 2, beat him to death because he's got a little wit about him, I can rotate in something like this switch smash and read the smash concept first, and then have that backside switch post, curl switch post, or wow, switch post with the wheel underneath, and know that that is that is there against cover 2 a lot. So with that being said, we'll just set it to the play action comebacks. For trips, all right, this is probably my favorite choice in the offense that's not auto motion. I love that auto motion out of the under center. I just think that against somebody who is a very quality user, whether it's a linebacker or a safety, I just feel like those auto motions, those auto motions are like window dressing, I guess, to an extent, and that's like the best way I can put it, is just window dressing some things just to lock his eyes up for a half of a second. And that, if I can get him to pay attention to some window dressing for a half of a second, then I can manipulate the coverage elsewhere where I need to be delivering the football. So with that being said, I really like this choice concept because your Z receiver gets a phenomenal outside release on his streak. So for some reason you guess wrong and it's like cover 1 and you have a really sexy outside release, and depending on who you have out there, I mean, that could be the difference in a 3-step drop for a touchdown or a 7th-step drop throwing a 50-50 ball. You know what I'm saying? So we'll go to the choice here. Really like the inside zone out of gun trips. Let's see, our L1 is going to be, we have a slot corner in here somewhere. There it is. Slot corner. And R1 bubble screen. So these R1s probably will not change. I know I've been talking about R1 being the kind of carbon carousel of the audibles, but moving on to trips week, trips halfback week. All right, square is going to be screen. Really like in this one in particular, I really like the base and inside zone. I can never choose between the two. Now that draws are so good in this game that I might just have to rotate based on how my opponent is calling his defense. I might have to rotate this base, inside zone, and draw. I might have to rotate them in together, but into triangle there. L1. This is my favorite against cover 0. My eyes light up against cover 0. The smash right here. And then R1. I know that it sounds repetitive, but bubble screen. So if you'll notice, audibles, bubble screen for trips halfback week, bubble screen for trips. So all we're doing is that bubble screen, to me in particular, is the most equivalent to a run pass option that you can get in this offense. It is very RPO because you can probe for the run, and then if you don't like the run, you can get the bubble screen involved. And bubble screens, as a lot of you guys know, any kind of screen in this offense is an extended handoff, just an extension of the run game. So with that being said, I really like the bubble screen from the trips and the trips week because it allows me to probe the run from both sides of the quarterback. Okay. And my receivers aren't going to move at all. So there's very minimal motion. It takes almost no time to get from trips to trips halfback week, probe for a run, and get back to trips. You know what I'm saying? So, and that's strictly for the RPO side of the offense. Most of this offense can be considered RPO because you are going to have the run 90% of the time. You just got to figure out which gap technique you need to attack. So moving on, I'm almost done with these audibles. Moving on here. So we got trips halfback week. We'll go 5 wide now. 5 wide is interesting, but like the wide receiver screen, pivot Z in. Curl flat corner. Yeah, curl flat corner and stick. Middle slant. I'm sorry. I say stick because I'm an NCAA guy, and the 5 wide stick in NCAA. Whew, very nice. So, moving on to flanker close. Square is going to be weak flood. And we'll keep the halfback sweep. Switch dig will stay, and then we'll audible the drag to. I like bench, and okay. So I like bench. I like the RNS switch curl, and I like the RNS switch curl flat. Stick is also a great option. I love stick against cover 4, but if they're in a cover 4 hard flats or you guess wrong, it's over. cover. Like I don't throw a lot of picks, much less pick sixes. And I find myself throwing pick sixes on this stick concept more than anything when I thought that I had it figured out against cover 4 early in 17. So with that being said, I like the switch curl more so than the switch curl flat. For some of you guys who want to change things on the fly, the counter is a great call out of this formation. Counter and bench, two very good calls out of this formation. So with that being said, I'm gonna snip this video. It looks like I have a viewer or two. I can't really tell, but I'm gonna snip this video and I'm gonna come right back in about 60 seconds and start another video playing with this offense. So